You are reading these words because of decisions you made long before this moment. Not mystical attraction, not cosmic alignment. Decisions. Small ones, mostly. The choice to stay curious when others grew comfortable. The choice to question patterns when others accepted surfaces. The choice to return to certain ideas even when they offered no immediate reward. Most people believe they stumble into knowledge by accident. They use words like luck and timing to explain why certain information finds them. But accident is just another name for causes we haven't bothered to trace. Nothing enters a life without an invitation. The invitation is issued through habit, and habit is built through repetition of thought. You are here because your thinking has been preparing for this, not because you're special, not because fate selected you, because you've been asking certain questions long enough that answers have become inevitable. That's not magic. That's momentum. There is a difference between men who drift and men who direct. The difference is not talent. It's not education. It's not even intelligence. The difference is this. One group allows thought to scatter, the other organizes it. One reacts to circumstance, the other responds to principle. One explains failure, the other examines cause. If you felt a quiet dissatisfaction recently, a sense that surface-level answers no longer satisfy, you're not confused. You're evolving. That discomfort is not a signal to retreat into distraction. It's a signal that your mind is ready for structure. This is not a motivational speech. Motivation fades when emotion cools. This is instruction. Instruction, when applied, produces results regardless of how you feel. Emotion is unreliable. Principle is exact. What follows will not be new. It will be old. So old that most modern thinking has buried it beneath noise, trends, and oversimplification. But age does not diminish truth. It refines it. What has survived centuries of human experience has survived because it works. Do not rush through this. Speed is the enemy of retention. Let each idea settle. Let it connect to your own experience. You will find that what sounds abstract at first becomes concrete when measured against your own past. If you feel resistance rise as you continue, do not dismiss it. Resistance is evidence. Evidence that something you've been protecting, some comfortable belief, some inherited assumption, is being challenged. Truth does not enter politely. It rearranges. Pay attention to what disturbs you. Disturbance means proximity to change. And change, when directed, is the only path to different results. You are not early. You are not late. You are exactly where accumulated choices have placed you. The question is not whether this knowledge is powerful. The question is whether you will apply it with enough consistency to see results. Remain here not as a believer, but as a thinker. Test what you hear against reality. You will find that the principles described have been operating in your life all along. You've simply never named them. Part 1. The mechanics of mental selection. There is a reason identical information produces different outcomes in different people. Two individuals read the same book. One is transformed. The other is unchanged. The book did not decide. The minds did. This is not preference. This is preparation. The mind that changes was ready. The mind that remains static was not. Readiness is not a gift. It is a condition cultivated through specific habits of thought. Most people believe that exposure to good ideas is enough. It is not. Exposure without application produces only familiarity. Familiarity without practice produces false confidence. A man may know principles intellectually and violate them behaviorally. Knowledge that does not govern conduct is decoration, not power. I have observed thousands of individuals across every level of achievement. The pattern is unmistakable. Those who succeed repeatedly do not possess rare talent. They possess disciplined thought. Their thinking moves in organized lines. Their decisions reflect internal agreement. Their actions align with stated purpose. Those who fail repeatedly also follow a pattern: scattered attention, contradictory desires, decisions made from impulse rather than principle. They work hard, they intend well, but their mental habits sabotage their physical efforts. Effort without direction is noise. The world does not reward effort. It rewards organized effort. Organization begins in thought, not in action. A man who cannot organize his thinking cannot organize his day. A man who cannot organize his day cannot organize his outcomes. The mind is not a passive container. It is an active selector. Every day, consciously or unconsciously, it chooses what to focus on, what to dismiss, what to repeat, what to forget. These choices accumulate. Over time, they form patterns. Patterns become habits. Habits become character. Character determines destiny. This is not philosophy. This is mechanics. Cause and effect operating with precision. When a man's thinking is chaotic, his life reflects chaos. When his thinking is orderly, his life reflects order. The reflection is not immediate, which is why many fail to connect the two. But delay does not mean disconnection. Results lag behind causes, but they always arrive. Most men attempt to fix results while preserving the thought patterns that created them. This is like repainting a cracked foundation and expecting the structure to stabilize. Surface changes produce surface improvements. Structural changes produce lasting transformation. The question, then, is not how do I achieve more? The question is how do I think more deliberately? Deliberate thinking requires three elements: selection, repetition, and alignment. Selection means choosing which thoughts deserve attention and which deserve dismissal. Not every idea that enters the mind is useful. Not every emotion that arises is trustworthy. The disciplined thinker learns to distinguish between productive thought and mental static. Repetition means returning to chosen ideas until they become instinctive. A thought encountered once is a visitor. A thought repeated becomes a resident. Residents shape the environment. Visitors pass through. Alignment means ensuring that thought, desire, and action point in the same direction. When these three conflict, progress stalls. When they agree, momentum builds. This alignment is rare. Most people think one thing, desire another, and do a third. They wonder why life feels fragmented. The fragmentation is not external. It is internal. I have seen men of modest intelligence outperform brilliant strategists because their thinking was unified. The brilliant man considered endless possibilities but committed to none. The modest man selected one path and walked it fully. Commitment, not cleverness, produced results. This is why readiness matters more than exposure. A ready mind recognizes applicable truth immediately. An unprepared mind hears the same truth and feels nothing. Readiness is built through disappointment, reflection, and honest self-examination. A man who has never failed has no reason to question his methods. A man who has failed repeatedly and refuses to learn remains a victim. A man who fails, reflects, and adjusts becomes formidable. Failure is data. Most treat it as judgment. Data informs. Judgment paralyzes. The disciplined thinker examines failure without shame. He asks, what thought pattern produced this result? What did I assume that proved false? What will I do differently? These questions separate learners from repeaters. Learners advance. Repeaters stagnate. If you are here now, reading these words with attention, it is because some part of your thinking has shifted. Perhaps you have grown tired of inconsistent results. Perhaps you have noticed that effort alone does not guarantee progress. Perhaps you have begun to suspect that the problem is not circumstance, but perspective. That suspicion is the beginning of readiness. Do not dismiss it. Do not distract yourself from it. Follow it. It will lead you to principles that, once understood, cannot be unlearned. The mind selects its instruction through the quality of attention it offers. Careless attention produces shallow retention. Focused attention produces deep integration. Most people skim. They collect phrases, not principles. They quote wisdom without embodying it. The test of understanding is not repetition, but application. Can you take what you've learned and use it tomorrow? Can you trace a result back to a thought? Can you adjust a habit based on observed consequence? If yes, you are learning. If no, you are consuming. There is no judgment in this. Only distinction. Consumption is passive. Learning is active. The mechanics of mental selection are simple. What you give sustained attention to grows in significance. What you neglect fades in influence. This applies to fear as much as ambition. A man who rehearses fear daily strengthens it. A man who rehearses purpose daily strengthens that instead. The choice is not between feeling and not feeling. The choice is between directing thought or allowing it to drift. Drift is not neutral. It is surrender to whatever influence is loudest. Direction is deliberate. It requires daily discipline. But discipline, once established, becomes automatic. What begins as effort becomes instinct. This is the first principle. Your mind selects what it is prepared to receive. Preparation is not luck. It is labor. Labor applied to thought yields clarity. Clarity applied to action yields results. Part 2. The discipline of sustained attention. Attention is not automatic. It is a skill. And like all skills, it deteriorates without practice. Most people believe attention follows interest. This is partially true. Interest invites attention, but it cannot sustain it. Sustained attention requires discipline. Discipline is built through repetition, not inspiration. The undisciplined mind consumes rapidly and retains little. It moves from idea to idea, seeking novelty, avoiding depth. Depth requires discomfort. Novelty offers distraction. Distraction is easier, but ease does not produce mastery. Mastery requires sustained engagement with ideas that resist quick understanding. I have studied men who built empires and men who built excuses. The difference was not intelligence. It was focus. The empire builders could hold an idea in their mind long enough to extract its implications. The excuse makers skimmed surfaces and wondered why nothing changed. Attention determines retention. Retention determines application. Application determines results. If attention scatters, retention suffers. If retention suffers, application becomes impossible. If application does not occur, results remain theoretical. This is why the same principle, presented to 10 people, transforms 1 and leaves 9 untouched. 9 heard. 1 listened. Hearing is passive. Listening is active. Active listening requires silence. Not external silence, but internal silence. The mind must stop preparing responses, stop judging prematurely, stop comparing new ideas to old conclusions. Most people listen to confirm what they already believe. This is not listening. This is filtering. Filtering protects comfort. Comfort protects stagnation. The disciplined thinker listens to test, not to confirm. He allows an idea to challenge him. If it survives the challenge, he adopts it. If it fails, he discards it. But he gives it a fair trial. Prejudgment is the enemy of learning. Prejudgment decides before examining. It saves time, but sacrifices accuracy. There is a form of patience required in serious thinking. Not the patience of waiting, but the patience of allowing ideas to settle before demanding conclusions. Hurried thinking produces shallow understanding. Shallow understanding produces weak conviction. Weak conviction collapses under pressure. I have observed that men who command influence speak less and listen more. Not because they lack opinions, but because they value accuracy over speed. Speed impresses observers. Accuracy produces results. The culture rewards speed. Principles reward accuracy. Sustained attention also governs what a mind rejects. The disciplined thinker learns to turn away from ideas that conflict with his purpose. This is not closed-mindedness. This is clarity. A mind cluttered with contradictions cannot issue clear instructions to life. Contradiction weakens signal. When thought points in multiple directions, action hesitates. Hesitation invites doubt. Doubt invites delay. Delay invites drift. The antidote is selection. Select fewer ideas. Engage them deeply. Apply them consistently. One principle fully integrated produces more change than 10 principles casually acknowledged. This is why repetition is essential. Repetition is not redundancy. It is reinforcement. Each encounter with an idea allows it to reach a deeper layer of understanding. First hearing brings awareness. Second hearing brings recognition. Third hearing brings comprehension. Fourth hearing brings conviction. Conviction directs behavior. Behavior produces outcomes. Men who dismiss repetition as boring do so because they confuse familiarity with mastery. To recognize an idea is not to possess it. Possession comes when thought and conduct agree. Until then, repetition serves as training. The mind must be trained to hold focus despite distraction. Distraction is constant. Focus must be cultivated. This cultivation happens through small disciplines. Finishing what you start, returning to interrupted tasks, resisting the urge to check notifications mid-thought. These seem minor. They are foundational. A man who cannot finish a paragraph without distraction cannot finish a project without deviation. Attention is the instrument through which all learning occurs. Protect it. Guard it. Direct it deliberately. The world profits from scattered attention. Scattered attention consumes without discerning. Marketers, entertainers, and manipulators all rely on distraction. The disciplined thinker opts out, not through isolation, but through selection. He chooses what deserves his attention. He refuses what is not. This refusal is not arrogance. It is self-respect. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Spend it wisely or others will spend it for you. When you give full attention to worthy ideas, those ideas expand in your understanding. When you give partial attention, nothing fully develops. Partial engagement produces partial results. Full engagement produces transformation. This is the second principle. Attention sustained produces retention. Retention applied produces power. Discipline your attention. Your future depends on it. Part 3. The formation of organized thought. There comes a point in serious development when thought stops wandering and starts organizing itself. This moment is not dramatic. It is quiet. It begins as a subtle dissatisfaction with disorder. A man notices that scattered effort produces scattered results. He grows impatient with contradictory desires. He feels a pressure to choose direction rather than preserve all options. This pressure is not external. It is internal. The mind, having matured through experience, begins to demand structure. Structure does not limit. It focuses. Focused energy accomplishes what dispersed energy cannot. The organization of thought happens through elimination. The mind releases trivial concerns and concentrates on essential questions. It stops asking, "What should I do?" and starts asking, "How will I do this?" The shift from what to how signals that purpose is forming. Purpose is not discovered in a moment of revelation. It is constructed gradually through repeated alignment of thought and action. Every time a man chooses consistency over convenience, purpose strengthens. Every time he chooses comfort over commitment, purpose weakens. Purpose is built, not bestowed. During this period of organization, a man often withdraws slightly from unnecessary social engagement. Not from dislike, but from necessity. His attention turns inward. He is assembling himself. Observers may misinterpret this withdrawal as coldness or uncertainty. In reality, it is preparation. An army does not march before it gathers. A mind does not act wisely before it organizes. Impatience at this stage is dangerous. The urge to act before clarity has formed can disrupt the entire process. Some mistake the first sense of direction for completion and rush forward prematurely. This haste produces frustration, not because the direction was wrong, but because it was incomplete. Organization requires patience. Ideas must settle into proper relation to one another. This settling cannot be forced. It occurs through reflection. Reflection is not overthinking. Overthinking produces paralysis. Reflection produces perspective. The disciplined thinker reflects by returning to core questions. What do I want? Why do I want it? What am I willing to sacrifice to obtain it? These questions strip away pretense. They reveal whether desire is genuine or borrowed. Many men pursue goals they do not truly want because those goals carry social approval. They achieve them and feel empty. The organized mind pursues goals that align with internal values, not external expectations. This alignment produces satisfaction that success alone cannot provide. As thought organizes, decision-making improves. The man no longer agonizes over every choice. He evaluates quickly, decides firmly, and adjusts calmly if needed. Others notice this shift. They sense that he knows where he is going, even if he does not announce it. Certainty does not shout. It simply proceeds. The organized mind also becomes intolerant of excuse. Excuses once accepted now appear hollow. The man recognizes them for what they are, devices to preserve comfort. He relinquishes them, sometimes with discomfort, but always with relief. This relinquishment marks the end of drift. Drift survives on ambiguity. When ambiguity is removed, drift loses its foothold. At this stage, repetition assumes new importance. Ideas previously encountered return with greater force. The man does not tire of them. He tests them against experience. Each successful test deepens conviction. Conviction is not belief borrowed from others. It is belief earned through application. Only organized thought can apply principles consistently enough to produce conviction. There may be moments of doubt. Doubt is not weakness. It is seriousness. The mind examines what it intends to commit to. Doubt passes when examination completes. Those who flee doubt flee commitment. The organized mind chooses responsibility and accepts the weight that accompanies it. As organization progresses, opportunities begin to align with thinking. They appear relevant, timely, appropriate. The man is no longer overwhelmed by possibility. He recognizes fit. Fit is the harmony between inner direction and outer circumstance. When fit is present, effort feels purposeful, not forced. Work becomes expression, not struggle. This does not mean difficulty disappears. Difficulty remains, but it loses its power to discourage. Each obstacle is measured against purpose, not comfort. Measured this way, it becomes manageable. The organized mind revises plans without revising purpose. Revision is not abandonment. It is intelligence applied to persistence. As purpose clarifies, a man may quietly affirm to himself, "My desire is disciplined. I move in one direction with calm certainty." These statements do not excite him. They steady him. Excitement belongs to beginnings. Steadiness belongs to continuation. This is the third principle. Thought organized produces purpose. Purpose applied produces progress. Organize your thinking. Direction will follow. Part 4. The selective nature of applied truth. Truth does not transform everyone who encounters it. This puzzles many. They assume truth should work universally, like mathematics. It does work universally, but it requires application. And application requires readiness. A truth capable of changing one man's life can pass through another without leaving a trace. The difference is not in the truth. The difference is in the receiver. I have observed intelligent men who remained unmoved by principles that lifted others of modest education into positions of influence. Intelligence does not guarantee wisdom. Education does not guarantee understanding. These may prepare the surface, but they do not tune the instrument. Reception is governed by internal agreement, not accumulation of facts. Truth does not force itself into a mind. It offers itself quietly and waits for recognition. Recognition is not agreement. It is acknowledgement. The mind must first see that a truth applies before it can apply that truth to life. Many refuse acknowledgement because it carries responsibility. Responsibility is the dividing line. The man who accepts responsibility for what he recognizes as true cannot remain as he was. Action must follow. Those who resist responsibility find comfort in dismissal. They call truth impractical, exaggerated, or ill-timed. In doing so, they preserve familiar disorder. I have noticed men accept truth in theory while rejecting it in practice. They admire principles as ideas, but recoil from their demands. Such admiration produces no change. Principles respond only to obedience. There is a moment, subtle yet decisive, when a man either submits to recognized truth or turns away from it. This moment occurs in silence, often unnoticed by the man himself. Yet upon it rests the trajectory of his future. Some feel threatened by truth, not because it is harsh, but because it exposes the cost of continued drift. Truth removes excuses gently but firmly. The man who has built comfort upon excuse experiences this as attack. Others feel relief in truth's presence. They sense it explains what they have long suspected but could not articulate. To such men, truth feels like recognition, not intrusion. They lean toward it instinctively. This difference explains why identical instruction produces opposite reactions. One man grows defensive, another grows attentive. The instruction has not changed. The men have revealed themselves. Readiness is often forged through disappointment. Success achieved too easily may dull perception. Difficulty sharpens it. When effort fails repeatedly, the mind either abandons hope or seeks law. Those who seek law prepare themselves to receive it. I have seen men endure years of frustration only to experience clarity at the moment they could no longer tolerate confusion. This intolerance is not impatience. It is maturity. The mind demands order because it has suffered long enough without it. Such men do not seek comfort in truth. They seek explanation. Explanation gives them command. Command restores dignity. The unprepared mind resists explanation because it exposes cause. Cause implicates the thinker. Effect can be blamed on circumstance. This is why many prefer discussing results rather than origins. Truth concerns itself primarily with origin. It traces outcomes back to habits of thought and decision. This tracing requires honesty. Honesty unsettles those who prefer believing themselves victims of chance. The prepared mind welcomes tracing. It recognizes that if thought created condition, then thought can alter condition. In this recognition lies power. Power is not granted. It is assumed through responsibility. The man who accepts responsibility ceases asking permission of circumstance. He studies law and aligns with it. When a man reaches this stage, others respond differently without knowing why. His presence feels deliberate. His words carry weight. He no longer seeks agreement. He seeks accuracy. Such a man is sometimes mistaken for severe. In truth, he is simply finished with pretense. Pretense thrives on ambiguity. Order dispels it. The same truth that empowers one man will unsettle another because it threatens the arrangement of his excuses. This is why ridicule often greets new understanding. Ridicule is defense masquerading as confidence. Men who ridicule truth do not do so because it lacks merit, but because it demands change. Change requires effort. Effort exposes weakness. The ego resists exposure. The disciplined thinker does not argue with ridicule. He recognizes it as evidence of unreadiness. Law does not persuade. It proceeds. Truth repeats itself to the prepared mind in varied forms. Each repetition deepens comprehension. To the unprepared, repetition feels irritating. They complain of hearing the same ideas too often, unaware that repetition is invitation. What one calls boring, another calls clarifying. The difference lies in willingness to apply. Application is the final test of readiness. Many understand principles intellectually. Few submit their habits to them. Those who do experience change. Those who do not remain spectators. The man who applies truth notices a shift in how life responds. Resistance lessens. Cooperation increases. Events arrange themselves with fewer collisions. This is not fortune. It is alignment made visible. Others observing this change attribute it to confidence or luck. They do not see years of internal correction that preceded it. Effects are always visible. Causes remain hidden. This invisibility tempts the unprepared to imitate results without adopting discipline. They copy mannerisms, phrases, appearances, hoping to capture outcome without process. Such imitation fails because it ignores origin. Truth transforms only when allowed to govern thought and action together. Partial obedience produces partial results. Inconsistency produces confusion. This is the fourth principle. Truth transforms selectively. Only the ready receive. Only the obedient benefit. Become ready. Then obey what you recognize. Part 5. The command of aligned decision. When thought, desire, and belief reach agreement, life ceases to resist and begins to respond. This response is often mistaken for luck by those who do not understand mechanics. In truth, it is compliance. Causes obey when clearly commanded. Command is impossible where internal conflict remains. Most men attempt to control outcomes while neglecting causes. They strain against circumstance, applying force where harmony is required. Force exhausts. Harmony multiplies. The man whose internal life is aligned no longer pushes blindly. He directs. Direction is not noise. It does not announce itself loudly. It moves with certainty and expects cooperation. Life answers certainty because certainty reflects order, and order is recognizable to natural law. I have observed that when alignment becomes habitual, hesitation disappears. Decision replaces debate. The mind no longer entertains endless alternatives. It selects and commits. Commitment seals the signal. Many fear commitment because it excludes other possibilities. They imagine loss where there is only focus. Focus concentrates power. Power expressed steadily reshapes circumstance. Once a man decides with internal agreement, his actions gain weight. Even small efforts produce disproportionate results. Others notice that matters arrange themselves around him. They call him fortunate. He knows better. What has changed is not the world, but the quality of instruction it receives from him. Life responds to clarity. Confusion produces delay. Alignment produces movement. There is a moment when the aligned man recognizes he is no longer chasing outcomes. He is governing causes. This recognition is quiet but profound. It replaces urgency with assurance. Assurance does not mean certainty of ease. Difficulty remains part of growth. The difference is that difficulty no longer threatens direction. It becomes material for refinement, not reason for retreat. The man in alignment revises plans without revising purpose. He adapts without surrendering. This adaptability is mistaken by observers as flexibility alone. In truth, it is intelligence guided by commitment. Alignment demands repetition. The mind must be reminded of its direction until direction becomes instinctive. Habit is the servant of alignment. Without habit, clarity dissolves under pressure. I have seen men reach alignment briefly only to lose it through neglect. They assumed understanding would sustain itself. It does not. Order must be maintained. Drift waits patiently for neglect. The aligned man guards his internal conversation carefully. He does not indulge thoughts that contradict his purpose. This is not repression. It is selection. Selection preserves strength. Others may accuse such a man of stubbornness. They do not understand that he is no longer undecided. Decision appears rigid only to those who remain uncommitted. As alignment deepens, presence changes. The man does not seek to impress. He does not explain unnecessarily. His calm becomes persuasive. People respond because they sense certainty, not because they are convinced by argument. This certainty extends to action. The man acts at the appropriate time, not from impulse, but from readiness. Timing improves because thought is no longer scattered. Readiness replaces haste. Opportunities appear aligned with purpose. They fit rather than distract. The man recognizes them quickly because they correspond with his thinking. He no longer feels overwhelmed by choice. The unaligned man is burdened by possibility. Every option pulls at him. The aligned man experiences relief in limitation. Limitation channels effort. At this stage, the law of cause and effect becomes visible. The man observes that certain thoughts produce certain results with dependable regularity. Doubt dissolves because evidence accumulates. Accumulated evidence strengthens conviction. Conviction stabilizes behavior. Behavior establishes reputation. Reputation attracts cooperation. Cooperation accelerates achievement. Others often attribute this chain to charisma or leadership. These are names for effects. The cause remains alignment. The aligned man understands that authority does not require domination. It arises naturally from consistency. When words and actions agree, trust forms without demand. I have noticed such men are often consulted even outside their field of expertise. People sense they think clearly, and clear thinking is transferable. Order invites reliance. This reliance carries responsibility. The aligned man must remain vigilant. Complacency invites drift. Success does not abolish law. It merely proves it. There will be moments when results slow. The aligned man does not panic. He examines cause rather than blaming effect. He asks not, "Why is this happening?" but "What adjustment is required?" Adjustment is the privilege of alignment. Only the man who knows his direction can adjust without confusion. The drifter adjusts constantly and arrives nowhere. As alignment matures, effort becomes efficient. The man accomplishes more with less strain. This efficiency is often misunderstood as ease. In truth, it is economy born of order. Economy extends beyond action to emotion. The aligned man does not waste feeling on resentment or fear. These emotions disrupt signal. He acknowledges them briefly and releases them. Release is possible because he no longer identifies with impulse. He identifies with purpose. Purpose governs impulse. The world responds to this governance. Resistance diminishes. Cooperation increases. Even opposition clarifies direction rather than derailing it. At this stage, repetition takes on its final role. It is no longer instruction alone, but reinforcement. The man returns to fundamental principles not because he doubts them, but because they sustain alignment. This return appears boring to the unprepared. To the aligned, it is stabilizing. Foundations are revisited not to be admired, but to be strengthened. Affirmation now becomes command. Words spoken inwardly carry authority because they reflect agreement. The man may say quietly, "I command causes by governing my thoughts. What I recognize and obey becomes my power." These are not hopes. They are descriptions. Alignment transforms life from reaction into direction. The man ceases to be pushed by circumstance and begins to move it. This movement is not dramatic. It is steady, cumulative, unmistakable. Others may never understand how it happened. Explanation is unnecessary. Law does not require applause. This is the fifth principle. Aligned decision commands result. Consistency transforms command into outcome. Align your inner life. External results will follow. Part 6. The discipline of continuous correction. Alignment is not attained once and kept forever without effort. It is practiced. It is chosen repeatedly. Each day presents the option to maintain order or return to drift. Those who choose order find that causes obey with increasing precision. Those who neglect it rediscover confusion. The disciplined life is not a destination. It is a direction maintained through daily choice. This maintenance requires vigilance, not anxiety. Vigilance observes. Anxiety reacts. The man who maintains alignment monitors his thinking without obsessing over it. He notices when thought begins to scatter. He corrects gently but immediately. Correction is not punishment. It is course adjustment. A pilot corrects heading dozens of times during flight. This does not mean he is lost. It means he is navigating. The same applies to thought. Minor deviations corrected quickly prevent major drift. I have observed that men who sustain success do not do so through perfection. They do so through prompt correction. They fail, adjust, and continue. They do not waste time lamenting error. They extract lesson and proceed. This pragmatism separates achievers from philosophers. Philosophers analyze endlessly. Achievers apply, observe, adjust. Both thinking and action are required, but action produces data that thinking alone cannot. The disciplined man treats life as experiment. Each decision tests a hypothesis. If results align with intention, the hypothesis is validated. If not, it is revised. This experimental mindset removes shame from failure. Failure becomes feedback. Feedback informs. Shame paralyzes. The man who cannot tolerate feedback cannot improve. Continuous correction also applies to association. As a man's thinking evolves, his relationships may shift. Some connections deepen. Others fade. This is natural, not tragic. People resonate at different frequencies of seriousness. When your frequency changes, resonance changes. Forcing outdated connections drains energy. Releasing them creates space for alignment. This does not mean abandoning loyalty. It means recognizing that growth sometimes requires distance. The disciplined man does not apologize for outgrowing environments that no longer serve his purpose. He exits respectfully but decisively. Sentimentality is not loyalty. Loyalty serves mutual growth. Sentimentality preserves comfort. There is also the discipline of refusal. The aligned man learns to say no without guilt. Every yes to distraction is a no to purpose. Most people fear disappointing others more than they fear disappointing themselves. This fear produces scattered commitment and mediocre results. The disciplined thinker prioritizes purpose over popularity. He understands that respect is earned through results, not agreeability. People may initially resist his boundaries. Over time, they respect them. Respect follows consistency. Another aspect of continuous correction is the discipline of rest. Rest is not laziness. Rest is recovery. The mind, like the body, requires periods of disengagement to consolidate learning. Men who refuse rest operate on depleted reserves. Depleted reserves produce poor decisions. Poor decisions create problems that demand more energy to solve. This cycle exhausts without producing progress. The disciplined man schedules rest deliberately. He does not wait for collapse. He prevents it. Rest also includes mental rest. Periods of non-consumption. The modern mind is overstimulated. Constant input prevents processing. Processing is where understanding forms. Without processing, information accumulates without integration. Integration is what produces wisdom. The aligned man protects time for silence. Not meditation necessarily, but simply absence of input. In that silence, ideas settle. Connections form. Clarity emerges. Continuous correction requires honest self-assessment. The man must regularly ask, am I moving toward my stated purpose or away from it? This question cuts through justification. Justification is the language of drift. It explains why deviation was necessary. The disciplined mind does not justify. It adjusts. If deviation occurred, the question is not, why did I deviate? But how will I return? Return is always possible. The longer deviation continues, the harder return becomes. This is why daily correction matters more than monthly overhaul. Small, consistent adjustments maintain alignment. Infrequent, dramatic corrections create instability. Stability comes from rhythm, not intensity. The aligned man also practices gratitude, not as sentiment, but as perspective. Gratitude reminds him of progress already made. This reminder sustains effort during difficulty. Men who focus only on distance remaining become discouraged. Men who acknowledge distance traveled gain strength. Both perspectives are true. The disciplined thinker chooses the one that serves purpose. Finally, continuous correction involves teaching. Teaching clarifies understanding. Explanation reveals gaps in knowledge. The man who cannot explain a principle simply does not fully understand it. Teaching also reinforces commitment. When you instruct others, you hold yourself accountable. This accountability strengthens discipline. You need not teach formally. Conversation suffices. When you articulate principles to others, you deepen your own grasp of them. This is why the best students often become teachers. Teaching completes learning. The disciplined life is not rigid. It is resilient. Rigidity breaks under pressure. Resilience bends and returns. The aligned man maintains direction without demanding perfection. He corrects course without self-condemnation. He persists without rigidity. This balance is the mark of maturity. Maturity does not mean absence of error. It means swift recovery from error. This is the sixth principle, alignment maintained through.